Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani took some heat yesterday on the internet with this exchange with Georgetown professor Michael Eric Dyson on Meet the Press.
I find it very disappointing that you're not discussing the fact that 93% of blacks in America are killed by other blacks. We're talking about the exception here.
First of all, most black people who commit crimes against other black people go to jail. Number two, they are not sworn by the police department as a agent of the state to uphold the law. So in both cases, that's a false equivalency that the mayor has drawn, which has exacerbated tensions that are deeply embedded in American culture.
How about 70 to 75% of the crime in my city?
How about your attitude reinforces the problematic
all right, I think this is a debate.
That prevails in the culture. So
this is a debate.
How about you reduce crime?
This is a debate. When I become mayor, I'll do that.
Wait,
the
let's
white
not make
police
this.
officers won't be there if you weren't killing each
Look
other.
at this.
Hang on.
70
the defensive
to
mechanism of white supremacy at work in your mind.
Wow. Did you catch that? That was Dyson, if you listen there, calling Giuliani a supremacist. But it wasn't the mayor. The mayor was actually just laying out some facts. We're going to dive into them now.
Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani joining us now with reaction the day after that firestorm. Should there be a firestorm about what went on in that debate? Are you a white supremacist, Mayor Giuliani, as Professor Dyson was suggesting?
Of course, I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer, except for the fact that up until the time I became mayor, thousands of blacks were being killed every single year. I probably saved more black lives as mayor of New York City than any mayor in the history of the city, with the possible exception of Mike Bloomberg, who was there for 12 years. When I came into office, thousands of blacks were being killed every year. By the time I left office, it was down to about 200. I'd like to see if any of if Dr. Dyson has ever saved as many lives in his community as I've saved, and I did it by having to use police officers in black areas where there was an astounding amount of crime. If that crime was in white areas, police officers would be in white areas. If it were in Hispanic areas, it would be in Hispanic areas. I had no racial component to my determination of where to put police. It was based on the CompStat system, which I established with Bill Bratton. I had a statistically based system that actually the Justice Department investigated and found to be perfectly fair under then Deputy Attorney General Holder.
Right. Your conversation with him, although it wasn't really a conversation, it was pretty heated between the two of you. Just simply had to. It got started with you were citing black-on-black violence.
Here's what I'm very frustrated about with Ferguson and all of these situations. These things happen, and they are exceptions. This is like there are two blocks. In one block, 93% of the accidents occur. In the other block, 3% of the accidents occur. And you spend 93% of your time trying to stop the accidents in the 3% block, and none of your time trying to stop the accidents in the 93% block. And if you did that, you would be sacrificing lives. The danger to a black child in America is not a white police officer. That's going to happen less than 1% of the time. The danger to a black child, if it was my child, the danger is another black. 93% of the times, they're going to be killed by another black. And the idea that whites do not go to jail for killing blacks, first of all, only about 3% of whites kill blacks. They go to jail in approximately the same percentage as blacks go to jail. The conviction rate is almost exactly the same. The difference is it's a very rare exception when a white kills a black. A black killing it's actually a fairly rare exception when a black kills a white. Blacks are basically killing other blacks. And these people are spending millions and millions of dollars demonstrating. They have every right to do it. Why don't they spend an equal amount of time trying to straighten out that horrendous crime problem that exists? These numbers, I don't know if you're statistically oriented, but these numbers are overwhelming. When you look at this, it could make you cry. I used to look at our crime reduction, and the reason we reduced homicide by 65% is because we reduced it in the black community, because there's virtually no homicide in the white community, a couple of percent, and a proportionate amount of homicide in the Hispanic community. In other words, it's proportionate to its level in the population.
Sure. It's statistical. It's numerical. It's not about color. It's what you're telling us.
It depends on whether you want to be some kind of a racial demagogue, who I consider a racist, which is what many of these people are, who make these things into like they're the rule, or you want to be fair and decent and really save people's lives.
All right. Rudy Giuliani joining us live on the couch today.
Good to see you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thanks.